I am still very worried about the future of CD Projekt Red, Cyberpunk 2077, and The Witcher 4. I honestly think it's not gonna be good. I think we are heading towards an absolutely massive disaster at this point. With everything that has happened, with everything that has been said, and well, honestly, more importantly, everything that has not been said and everything that has been lied about CD Projekt Red is very worrying. So, as you may or may not know, there's a lot of things happening with CD Projekt Red after the initial disaster of Cyberpunk 2077, when their company effectively should have gone under, but magically out of nowhere, they didn't have any financial troubles, even though the shareholders sued them. The European Commission, some kind of European Commission sued them, and something else happened. I don't even know what. But somehow, magically, they did not have any financial issues. And that's where the problem started. After that, CD Projekt Red pretty fast won a Vogue Award. And, that's when I kind of put together that most likely some kind of BlackRock, Vanguard, JP Morgan, or whatever, with their Vogue commissions, put in an influx of cash. So these companies start doing a little bit more of the DEI nonsense and Vogue nonsense. And I think it's showing. I think it's really showing in the last couple of years with with all decisions that CDPR has done at this point, and I think it's really bad, honestly. I think it's really bad. They're opening new studio in America, one of the most focused places. What was it? San Francisco, California, or some other a-hole? Well, s-hole, I should probably say. And Montreal, Canada, Quebec, the French part of Canada, which is even technically somehow worse. And if those things were not bad enough, honestly, for you, well, it's the fact that not only did CDPR Red literally win a Vogue Award for the Vogue things that they have done and they want to do with their company, they have a full description of what kind of Vogue stuff that they want to do with the future of their company and whatnot. And their CEO has been very much exposed for lying about the things that he said are happening in the country, the things that he said are happening with the games, the people who are working at the games. One of the biggest scandals that all entailed was the fact that people were saying, well, no one's really left from the original teams that were making the original Witcher, the original everything, and now the Witcher 4 is made by a bunch of woke goons. And he lied and said, "Oh no, all of the people, most of the people are still of the old." And then someone compared the lists of people currently working and in the credits of the previous games or whatnot. And yeah, 80% of those people are gone. They're no longer there. So that's a blatant lie. And there were some more minor blatant lies about it. The reveal trailer for The Witcher 4 makes no lore sense with what happened to Ciri for no reason. It looks just like a giant girl boss story where she is pristine, great, and a complete Mary Sue for no reason. Even though she kind of did. Listen, I'm gonna be real, okay? Ciri was already effectively the strongest character lore-wise in the Witcher series by a wide margin. And they somehow managed to take that established, powerful character and turn it into a Mary Sue in the Witcher 4 release trailer. That is just the next level. How the fuck is this even possible? Okay, I'm not gonna lie. It's just completely mind-boggling. Okay. And she looked more like a man than anything else. There were some people who were saying, "Oh no, it's just your imagination that she looks like a man with that jawline and stuff." That happened. Then they seemingly reverted the changes, but I don't think it's gonna matter. I think we are. I think the next couple of years for CD Projekt Red, when they finally start releasing games, are gonna be rough.
A lot of attention lately, both for 2077 and now Cyberpunk 2, which is the name that was officially recognized yesterday by CDPR during their latest earnings call, moving away, of course, from Project Orion. And this news has been coming in seemingly every day and from multiple angles and sources. We've seen interviews, tweets, cryptic messages by the dozens, and a lot more. And that's what I want to take a deep dive
Yeah, there's a marketing campaign pretty much full swing at this point.
into today. Everything Cyberpunk, along with the latest news coming to us via CDPR. If at any time you feel like supporting the channel, please take a moment to hit subscribe and to ring the notifications bell while setting the alerts to receive all. And now, let's get into all the latest from Cyberpunk. During yesterday's CD Projekt Group earnings call, we learned some new details for Cyberpunk 2, as was officially referred to during the call.
I'm pleased to share that Cyberpunk 2, which we had previously referred to as Project Orion, successfully concluded its concept phase a few weeks ago and has transitioned into pre-production.
Which we will talk about later in this video, but for now, let's concentrate on 2077. And we just learned that Phantom Liberty has now reached 10 million copies sold, which includes individual copies sold along with those included in the Ultimate Edition bundle. Now, the last time we received an update from CDPR on Phantom Liberty was late last year, when they revealed that 2077's only expansion to date had reached 8 million copies. And to sum it up, that's 2 million more units in 6 months' time. So 2077 is still producing for CDPR, and I suspect we'll do even more based on what's right around the corner. Because in a little over a week's time, 2077 will see two significant events. The first being the long-anticipated release of the Nintendo Switch 2, and with it, as a launch day release, will be...
God, who cares about this? Am I the only one who literally could not care less about this crap?
Cyberpunk 2077. One day later, June 6th, is Summer Games Fest, where CDPR is already confirmed to be attending, for sure to show off how the game...
Yeah, they are dropping something. That Summer Games Fest is gonna be probably pretty decent. Let's look at the line here, okay? No idea what this is. 2K, obviously, GTA. Amazon Games. Didn't they go bankrupt and say that they go bankrupt? Amazing Season Games. No idea what that is. Annapurna. I don't remember what they do, but they're a thing. Atari is a thing. Bandai Namco. Bellring Games. No idea what that is. A lot of things that I do, though, recognize. Capcom, CDPR, Devolver, Day of the Devs. What the isn't this like a other show? I'm not even sure. There's a lot of things here that are kind of interesting. Oh, and the Razer, god damn! Whoa, what a joke.
To be attending, for sure to show off how the game performs on the latest edition of Switch, and possibly to reveal something yet not publicized, although that's just me theorizing. A lot of anticipation is riding on the release of the Switch 2 in tandem with Cyberpunk 2077, where it was revealed on the call that CDPR has made a significant financial investment totaling $2.66 million to ensure that the game is ready for launch day in the best possible state and to take full advantage of the new specs built into the Switch 2. Further speculation about...
Bro, what do you mean take advantage of the specs built into the whatever? It's a shit show.
About the potential profits of the game launching day one on the latest from Nintendo was asked during the call, but no definitive answer was provided. Moving away from the Switch 2 news, and we next need to ask, what in the hell has been going on with 2077 lately, especially with the Steam backend for a supposedly finished and done with game? Now, not only has the game's avatar been changed from what some are calling a stapler over to the more recognizable shot of the back of V and then back again several times, but the game's Steam Store banner has also been significantly altered, with V very clearly moving locations on the banner, and the logo has also been changed from yellow to black.
Very clearly, eh?
Black. We've also seen this birthdays and anniversaries calendar showing the characters from the game with 6 slots at the bottom labeled as data and...
Dude, this has been a thing for... I'm tired of waiting. At this point, I'm no longer excited. I'm kind of getting pissed about this thing, okay? because we're waiting way too long. It's probably gonna be revealed, or at least half revealed in the showcase, but this is just annoying.
Cryptid, which, since it was published, has not been mentioned again, but it clearly leaves a lot of unanswered questions hanging out there. Who are these mysterious 6 individuals, and how do they relate to the future of Cyberpunk 2077? Along with the announcement made during the reveal of the Virtuous-led update,
And maybe we still have a surprise or two left for you.
Maybe.
You will see
never know,
soon
you
enough.
never know. Okay.
it certainly feels like there is more than strong evidence
Okay, wait, I haven't seen that before. Roll it back, editor. I'm the editor. I'm not editing anything. Okay, so we have. Okay, this seems fine. This is a breath of fresh air. Okay, okay. Not that bad. Not gonna lie, because this is the red stream, obviously. So okay.
No. Okay.
It certainly feels like there is more than strong evidence that 2077 is not only going to see more updates in the future, but could potentially see a second DLC to bring it equal with the studio's other major.
We are talking about the second DLC so much, and I think this is real. Because a DLC takes so much less to make than a new game. Okay, a DLC can be easily made by 50 to 100 people at this point. Because they have all of it already ready. You know, it's the same assets. There's a bunch of reasons why a DLC is so much easier. Plus, not to mention, I mean, people want a DLC. Cyberpunk 2077 is one of the things where people are actively asking for a DLC. And I mean, CDPR Red knows that. But at this point, it's the question of if they really are completely vocified, if they are really completely under the thumb of, well, probably BlackRock or whatever, will they not release a DLC because they are afraid that this is gonna sour people towards the massive releases that they're gonna do?
Major success, The Witcher 3. Now, fans of Cyberpunk have long pointed to that game as proof that 2077 will see yet another expansion, as The Witcher 3 received both Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine.
I mean, listen, from a financial perspective, this makes no sense. Completely no sense. Everyone wants DLC. The old DLC was successful and it has sold a lot of copies. It's 100% making money. Like, this is a guaranteed thing that is going to make money. Guaranteed. And they're not dropping it? Now, granted, there is one financial reason why they would not do a DLC, and it has nothing to do even with wokeisms or purple hair. And that is the fact that we just got the news at the start of the video here, but it's about the fact that the old DLC is still selling, still getting numbies in. You know, that's a big deal. As long, this is what happens with businesses and how they choose to do things. If they release something and that thing is still pumping big numbies, then they're not going to do another thing that's the next step as long as that's still making money. Because it's already released, and at this point it's just generating free money. Zero input, zero costs, just free money. So they don't want to reduce that. And if this DLC is still making like 2 million sales a year, well, there's no reason to not wait like 1 or 2 years more at this point and see how sales drop then, and then release it when the new expansion is ready. And that would be pretty good. That is an actual financial reason why they would not release or even talk about a DLC at this point. Also, this is a situation that we have seen with other games. Most prominently, by the way, is GTA 5. GTA 5 canceled like 5 or 6 DLCs for the same principle that I just told you. But in their situation, it was they thought that DLCs are gonna that they're gonna, you know, put a jab through, put a knife in the ribs of the shark card sales online, so they didn't want to do it. They did not want to make DLCs just because of that. If a company thinks the DLC is gonna reduce their already currently existing free profits, they're not gonna make something. even though if it's like Cyberpunk 2077, but everyone knows that the DLC at this point would be 100% successful.
During its main development release cycle. More recently, we've even seen Marta, whose last name I will not attempt here on the video out of fear I might butcher it, but anyways, she's the Polish voice actor for Judy, posting this to Instagram, which when translates reads, "And another day is behind me. I'm not around here much these days because I'm on set, and while I'm there, I put my phone aside. We'll have to wait a bit longer to see the results of our work. And I'm growing more and more fond of my new character. Of course, I can't reveal any details, but I hope that once again, some of you will see yourselves and your stories reflected in hers like in a mirror." With this posting after she was at CDPR doing some sort of work. And the theories here again have already been surfacing that it might have something to do with those 6 encrypted characters on the birthday's timeline, or this could be the start of something entirely new, as in a new DLC. Where CDPR is a bit more flexible and open about when it comes to the future content for 2077 is outside media, as discussed within the conversation of their business flywheel approach, including TV, film, mobile games, and more. Now, in addition to an unannounced project with Fool's Theory, there's also the live action project being headed up by Anonymous, along.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about the live action project. Dude, that one's a wild one. Do you think they're gonna succeed? Because the CGI effects for the Cyberpunk live action thing is gonna be wild. But then again, we don't really have anything like Cyberpunk in live action, so it's kind of a guaranteed success also. Again, it's crazy how much money that is to be made for CDPR if they don't go woke. It is crazy how much ka-ching there is around.
With the next iteration of Edge Runners releasing in 2026 in combo with Wuthering Waves. There's also the possibility of a Cyberpunk mobile game, as we already know that CDPR is in partnership with Scopely, noted mobile games developer, to make something. Could it be something related to Cyberpunk? Again, not known. And this mobile title will pop up again a bit later in the video. Of course, the other major news is that Project Orion, the next Cyberpunk game, was officially recognized by a different name on yesterday's call.
I'm pleased to share that Cyberpunk 2, which we had previously referred to as Project Orion, successfully concluded its concept phase a few weeks ago and has transitioned into pre-production.
With an ongoing ramp-up and developers assigned to the project, now nearly touching 100 in total. Now, CDPR also recognized the fact that Cyberpunk 2 had moved into pre-production several weeks ago, and that is significant, as based on previous studio release timelines, they normally take 4 to 5 years in production before releasing. For instance, The Witcher 3 entered pre-production in 2011 and eventually launched in 2015. To further reinforce how long it will be before we see Cyberpunk 2, that question was asked of management, citing the normal 4 to 5 year turnaround, which earned this response.
Our journey from the pre-production to the final release takes 4 to 5 years on average. So a little bit less than I think what you said in the question.
And yes, this is also one of the big reasons. Well, it's most likely everyone thinks like it, but everyone understands that we're at least probably like 5 years away. 5 years, most likely, away from the next Cyberpunk game. 3 at the best of times, and between that, there's maybe The Witcher 4. Who knows? But again, we're not even sure about The Witcher 4 at this point. Maybe they're gonna put that one back in the oven. I don't really think that. I think that, again, if I think. I don't think we hear the real stories of what's happening under the hood of CDPR. And that's the bad part. Because again, they have done too many woke things. And, I mean, hardcore woke things. Again, you don't win a woke award literally for nothing. They have, there's probably a lot of bad things going on that we do not know about. And it's pretty clear that the CEOs are trying to keep everything under wraps here. Again, with all of the lies that they have spewed recently out to try and cover up the things that people are saying is potentially wrong here. Oh man, it is a tough one.
Question. Having said that, keep in mind that each project is unique, and there are many variables that influence the final outcome. So I will not lead you into specific years, but yeah, I mean this is pretty much how it looks like.
In terms of Cyberpunk 2, Mike Pondsmith was recently interviewed at Digital Dragons, where he talked a little bit about what to expect this sequel to be built around.
I spent a lot of time talking to one of the environment guys.
So the good part about this is, and this is the owner of the Cyberpunk 2077 IP, or in general, I think it's called just the Cyberpunk IP. This is the guy behind all of the stories, all of the characters, all of the everything. He does have sway over what CDPR does. He has not sold his soul effectively. But, I mean, while he hasn't sold his soul, a couple of strands of his soul are definitely sowed in the wrong places at this point. So, he has say, but it's not like he has say over all of everything that's happening there. He kind of knows the overview, and I get a feeling that this guy does not want his creation to just fucking die. He's very much still actively making future things, future storylines for the game, for the franchise, and everything. So this is kind of like the big good thing about Cyberpunk that's currently happening. The fact that its original creator is not really completely sold on the wokeisms.
And he was explaining how the new place in Orion, because there's another city we visit. I'm not telling you any more than that, but there's another city we visit. And Night City's still there. But I remember looking at it and going, yeah, I understand the feel that you're going for this, and this really does work. And it doesn't feel like Blade Runner. It feels more like Chicago gone wrong. And I said, yeah, I can see,
Chicago. Oof. Most normal people would say Chicago has already gone wrong.
This working.
Which, of course, anytime Pondsmith speaks, that makes headlines. And possibly this was not supposed to be made public, but it certainly was attention-grabbing. Diving a little further into the details about this new city connection and, of course, Night City, and in the original series, Night Corp had created a transcontinental maglev network, which was hinted to connect Night City with this new location, possibly Chicago. Now, that idea of being able to freely travel between several Cyberpunk locations has certainly piqued many players' interest. Speaking of which, alongside the news about Cyberpunk 2's multiple cities information, there's also a second very hot topic centered on how long it will be before we see this new title. Again, that was all but confirmed that we are looking at 4 to 5 years from several weeks ago. What will Cyberpunk do to fill that void? Because outside of re-releases and small updates, 4 to 5 years is a lot of time. And again, that conversation turns back to a second major DLC for 2077, possibly on the moon, which is where you can comment.
The Moon DLC, we already talked about this. It does seem like the logical next place you kind of go. Or, I don't know, maybe in No Man's Land or somewhere, I don't know. But the Moon does seem very, very likely, because the Moon is an established place. There's stuff there, and people found files of things about the Moon, I think, in the game or whatever. But there was also some reason it got debunked pretty hot. I don't remember, sadly, the reasons, but a lot of really hardcore fans were saying the Moon's not happening because of a couple of things that I don't sadly remember.
Down below as to what and where you think a 2077 DLC could take place. And finally, adding even more fuel to this potential future content discussion for 2077 was the fact where CDPR staff revealed they currently have 9 total projects in the works, but when we take a look at their long-term outlook update, there's only 6 showing. 3 for The Witcher, Cyberpunk 2, Project Hadar, and the unannounced project developed by Fool's Theory. But when pressed on the matter as to what the composition of these 3 mystery titles were, the answer was
2 projects are gaming projects and 1 is not.
which I find fascinating.
Damn.
Who knows? Maybe it's my hope for Cyberpunk 2077, but my feeling here is that based on the 4 to 5 years turnaround before Cyberpunk 2 arrives and the confirmation that 2 of these mysteries are indeed gaming titles, we just might be looking at our long-desired second expansion for 2077. What are your thoughts on all the new information? Are you excited for Cyberpunk 2? And what are your thoughts on a second DLC finally?
I'm honestly more excited that we can finally call it Cyberpunk 2 because Cyberpunk Orion was boring. Cyberpunk 2077 Orion sounded stupid. Now that we can just call it Cyberpunk 2, that's kind of best, not gonna lie. Anyway, that was Layton and Buzz Lightyear.